Hello and welcome back to Health Voices. Today, we need to talk about something that we all do, every single night, for about a third of our entire lives. Sleeping. We worry about how long we sleep. We worry about if we're getting good quality sleep. But what if I told you there's another part of sleeping? A part that almost no one talks about. That could be making all the difference? What if the very position you choose for comfort, the way you lie in bed every night, was silently putting pressure on your heart? Or reducing the oxygen getting to your brain? Or even stressing your spine while you sleep? This isn't about getting more sleep or less sleep. It is about how you sleep, and why after the age of 60, it matters more than ever before. Here to guide us through this incredibly important and, as I said, often overlooked topic is our trusted expert, cardiologist, Dr. David Miller. Dr. Miller, thank you for being here to talk about something that sounds so simple, but clearly has some very serious implications for our health.
It's my pleasure to be here, Sarah. And you're absolutely right. This topic often flies under the radar. But in cardiology and in medicine as a whole, sometimes the most profound health outcomes are tied to our most consistent daily habits. And there are few habits more consistent than the way we position our bodies for 7 or 8 hours every single night. I like to think of sleep health as having 3 main pillars. The first pillar is duration. That's simply how long you sleep. We all hear about getting 7 to 8 hours. The second pillar is quality. How well you sleep. Are you getting into those deep restorative stages of sleep? But there's a third pillar. It's the one that is so often ignored, and that is your sleep posture, your physical position during those hours. After the age of 60, this third pillar becomes critically important.
Why is that, doctor? Why does it suddenly matter so much more as we get older?
That's the key question. It's because our bodies become less forgiving. When you're 20 or 30, your body has amazing resilience. Your muscles are strong, your blood vessels are elastic, your spine is flexible. The body can compensate for a less than ideal position. But after 60, things change. The elasticity in our blood vessels naturally decreases. Our lung capacity might not be what it once was. The discs that cushion our spine have less fluid. Because of these changes in the simple force of gravity and how it interacts with our body as we lie down, can have a much, much greater impact on our cardiovascular system. It can affect everything, from our blood pressure to our heart rate and even the blood flow to our brain. So this isn't just about waking up with a stiff neck anymore. It's about protecting your long-term health.
The third pillar of sleep. I have to say, I've never thought of it that way before. It makes perfect sense. So let's dive right into it. What is the first sleeping position that you, as a cardiologist, would tell people over 60 to be very cautious about?
I think you're right, Sarah. This one is going to surprise a lot of people. The first position I would caution against, especially for anyone over the age of 60, is sleeping flat on your back. And I mean truly flat, with maybe one low pillow and your legs stretched out straight. From the outside, it looks peaceful. It even looks proper, doesn't it? For years, this was often recommended for keeping the spine in a neutral line. But what we now understand, especially from a cardiovascular and aging perspective, is that this can be a deceptively peaceful position. What feels restful on the surface can actually be creating a cascade of subtle but very real problems for your body overnight. I like to break down these problems into 3 main categories for my patients. First, there's the mechanical problem. This is about physics. When you lie flat on your back, gravity does something that most of us never think about. The weight of your abdominal organs, your stomach, your liver, your intestines, all of that weight settles backwards and upwards, and it presses directly against your most important breathing muscle, your diaphragm. Your diaphragm is like a big, strong dome that needs to flatten down to pull air into your lungs. But when it has all that extra weight pressing on it, it simply can't move as freely. It can't take a full, deep, satisfying breath. It's like trying to breathe properly while someone has placed a heavy book on your chest. You're forced into taking shallower breaths all night long. And at the same time, this position can flatten the natural, gentle curve of your lower back, putting steady pressure on your lumbar spine.
That makes so much sense. I've definitely heard older relatives say it feels harder to get a deep breath when they lie flat. So the weight of our own body is actually getting in the way.
Exactly. And this mechanical problem leads directly to the second issue, which is the oxygen problem. And this is where my concern as a cardiologist really gets heightened. When your breathing becomes shallower night after night, the oxygen saturation level in your blood can begin to dip. Now, it's not enough to be dangerous in an acute way. It's not like you're choking, but it creates a state of what we call subtle hypoxia, a low-grade chronic oxygen deficiency that lasts for hours at a time. You have to remember, your brain is an energy hog. It uses about 20% of all the oxygen your body takes in just to function at rest. When that supply is consistently reduced, even by a little bit, night after night, for years, the cumulative effect is significant. This is what we believe contributes to that feeling of waking up with brain fog, where it takes an hour and a cup of coffee just to feel clear. It's linked to slower memory recall. And on a cellular level, it creates something called oxidative stress, which scientific research widely recognizes as a major driver of the aging process, not just in the brain, but throughout the entire body.
So a position that looks so calm from the outside could actually be creating stress and accelerating aging in the brain. Is there much research on this specifically?
Yes, there is. And it's a growing field of study. I remember a particularly significant Japanese study a few years ago. Researchers looked at a group of adults over 65, and they found that the participants who slept primarily on their backs showed significantly higher biological markers for that oxidative stress we just talked about. So this isn't just a theory anymore. We can actually see the evidence in the blood work. The way you sleep affects your body's chemistry. But Sarah, there's a third problem with this position, and for many of my patients, this is the one that truly changes their lives when they finally fix it. It's the fluid problem. And this is directly connected to one of the biggest sleep complaints from seniors, nocturia, the need to wake up frequently at night to go to the bathroom.
I am so glad you are bringing this up. This is a huge issue for so many people.
It's huge. And here's what's happening. During the day, as you're up and about, gravity naturally pulls fluid down into your lower legs and feet. That's why your ankles might be a little puffy in the evening. The moment you lie down flat, everything changes. Gravity is no longer holding that fluid in your legs. All of that extra fluid that was temporarily parked in your ankles and calves, it all rushes back into your central circulation. It floods back into your bloodstream. Now your heart has to deal with this sudden increase in fluid volume. The heart has to work harder to pump it all. And to cope with this extra load, your cardiovascular system sends an urgent signal to your kidneys. The signal basically says, hey, there's too much fluid in the system. We're under pressure here. Get rid of some of it, now. So your kidneys do their job. They kick into high gear and start filtering that extra fluid, producing more urine. And the result is you waking up at 2 or 3 a.m. with a full bladder. Many people blame their bladder. They blame their prostate. They stop drinking water after dinner. But so often the real root cause is their sleep position. I had a patient just last year. Let's call him Robert. A wonderful man, 72 years old, a retired teacher. He came to me because he was just exhausted. He was at his wit's end. He told me, Doc, I think my bladder is shot. I'm getting up 3, sometimes 4 times a night. I haven't had a full night's sleep in years and I feel foggy all day. He was a lifelong back sleeper. I explained this fluid shift theory to him. He was very skeptical, just like you'd expect, but he was also desperate for a good night's sleep. So I made a simple recommendation. I told him, Robert, for 1 week, I want you to try sleeping on your side. And please put a pillow between your knees to support your back. He came back for his follow-up a month later, and Sarah, he looked like a different person. He had a spark in his eye. He sat down and said, Doc, I don't understand it, but for the first time in years, I'm only waking up once a night. Sometimes, not at all. He had more energy, his morning brain fog was gone, and we didn't add a single new medication. We just changed the way he positioned his body when he turned out the lights.
That story is incredible. It's not just a small improvement. That's a life-changing result from such a simple shift. So to recap, sleeping flat on your back can restrict breathing, lower oxygen to the brain, and even be the hidden cause of frequent nighttime trips to the bathroom. That is a very powerful case against a position so many of us thought was a good one. That story about Robert is just incredible, and it really highlights how a simple change in position can have such a profound impact on your entire quality of life. So we have a very strong case now against sleeping flat on our backs. It makes me wonder about the complete opposite. What about the people who sleep on their stomachs? Many people say they find it very comforting. What are your thoughts on that position, Dr. Miller?
That's the next logical place to go, Sarah. And if I called back sleeping deceptively peaceful, I would have to call a stomach sleeping the most mechanically stressful position of all. I know some people find it comforting. I've had patients describe it as feeling secure or grounded, almost like giving themselves a hug all night. But I have to be very direct here. That emotional comfort comes at a very high physical price, especially for a body over 60. Let's just think about the mechanics of it. Let's start at the top, with your neck. To breathe while you're lying on your stomach, you have no choice but to twist your head sharply to one side, a full 90-degree rotation. Now imagine turning your head as far as it can comfortably go, and then staying in that exact position for 6, 7, or even 8 hours. Your muscles, your ligaments, the discs in your cervical spine, they were never designed to be held under that kind of prolonged rotational stress.
When you put it like that, it sounds terrible. We'd never hold our neck in that position during the day.
You'd never dream of it. You'd be in pain within minutes. And it's not just about muscle strain. That sharp twist can also put pressure on the vital arteries in your neck. The carotid and vertebral arteries, the very ones that are responsible for carrying blood up to your brain. So just like with back sleeping, you can be inadvertently reducing blood flow and oxygen to your brain all night long. This is a major reason why so many habitual stomach sleepers wake up with tension headaches, a deeply stiff neck, and sometimes even a feeling of dizziness or being off balance in the morning.
What about people who say, "But doctor, I've slept like this my whole life and I feel fine"? Does the risk really increase that much with age?
That is the question I get all the time. And the answer is a resounding yes. The risk increases dramatically. A younger body is more forgiving. The muscles are more pliable. The spinal discs are plump and full of fluid. The arteries are more elastic. The body can compensate. But after 60, that margin for error shrinks. This reminds me of a patient I had. Let's call her Carol. She was 68, a lifelong stomach sleeper. She came to see me initially about some minor heart palpitations, but during our conversation, she mentioned that her biggest problem was waking up every single morning with a headache and a neck so stiff, she said she could barely check her blind spot while driving her car. That's dangerous. We talked about her sleep, and she was very resistant to the idea that her comfortable sleep position could be the cause. But I explained that what worked for her body at age 40 might not be what her body needs at age 68. It took her a few weeks. She told me she used a body pillow to physically block herself from rolling onto her stomach. It was difficult at first, but when I saw her 2 months later, she was ecstatic. She said her daily headaches were completely gone. Her neck stiffness was 90% better. And interestingly, she even felt that her heart palpitations were less frequent, which we suspect is because she was finally getting better quality, more oxygenated sleep through the night. Her body was telling her, loud and clear, that it was time for a change.
That's another powerful story. It just shows that we have to be willing to listen to our bodies, even if it means changing a lifelong habit. You mentioned the neck, but does stomach sleeping affect other parts of the body too?
Oh, yes. The stress doesn't stop at the neck. It travels all the way down the spine. Think about the natural, gentle S-curve of a healthy spine. Stomach sleeping completely flattens it. Worse, it often forces your lower back, your lumbar spine, into an unnatural, prolonged extension. It's like your back is in a sway back or hammock position all night long. This puts tremendous, sustained pressure on your lumbar vertebrae and can lead to that nagging, chronic lower back pain that so many people just can't seem to shake. And to bring it all back to our main theme, stomach sleeping also affects your breathing. When your chest is pressed flat against the mattress, your rib cage is physically blocked. It can't fully expand when you inhale. So once again, we have a position that directly leads to shallower breathing, lower oxygen exchange, and prevents your body and brain from getting the deep, restorative, oxygen-rich sleep they need to heal. It's truly a triple threat. It's bad for your neck and brain, it's bad for your back, and it's bad for your breathing.
Okay, so we know what not to do. It's very clear that after 60, sleeping flat on our backs or on our stomachs comes with some serious hidden risks, from restricting oxygen to the brain, to causing back pain, to even making us wake up more at night. So that leads to the most important question of all. Dr. Miller, after all these warnings, what is the answer? What is the gold standard? What is the best and safest way to sleep if you want to protect your heart, your brain, and your spine?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And thankfully, the answer is quite simple and accessible to everyone. For the vast majority of older adults, the position that we recommend, the one that ticks all the boxes for health and restoration, is supported side sleeping. And I want to emphasize that word, is supported. It's not just about turning on your side, it's about creating a stable, aligned position for your body to rest in. This position really is the gold standard because it systematically solves the problems we've been discussing. Let's start with your spine. First and foremost, it solves the alignment problem. When you lie on your side with a pillow that has the right thickness, one that fills the space between your ear and the mattress, your head and neck can stay in a perfectly straight, neutral line with the rest of your spine. There's no twisting. There's no strain.
And what about the lower back? Does it help with that pressure we talked about?
It does, but this is where the supported part becomes critical. The most important part of this position, the small detail that makes all the difference, is placing a small, relatively firm pillow between your knees. This is not just for comfort, it's for alignment. You see, without that pillow, your top leg naturally wants to slide forward and down. When that happens, it pulls on your pelvis, and that twists your lower back and your sacroiliac joints out of alignment. By placing a pillow between your knees, you keep your hips, your pelvis, and your spine all stacked in one stable, parallel line. It takes all the pressure off your lower back. It's a game changer.
A pillow between the knees. It sounds so simple, but I can see how it would prevent that twisting motion. What about the breathing and oxygen issues?
It solves that problem beautifully. This is the second major benefit. When you're on your side, gravity is actually on your side for once. It gently pulls your tongue and the soft tissues in your throat forward, away from the back of your airway. This simple change in position keeps your airway wide open all night long. This is why side sleeping is the #1 recommendation for people who snore. And it's the primary positional therapy for those with mild to moderate obstructive sleep apnea. You're simply creating more space to breathe. Better breathing means better oxygen saturation all night long. And third, from my perspective as a cardiologist, it supports healthy circulation. It's easier for blood to make that long journey from your feet back up to your heart. This reduces the strain on your heart and can help lessen that fluid shift that we talked about, the one that causes those nighttime trips to the bathroom.
That's fantastic. It really seems to address every single issue we've discussed. Now, I have heard people debate this. And I'm sure our audience has too. The left side versus the right side. Is one really better than the other?
That's an excellent question, and there is some nuance to it. But I want to start by saying this is more about fine-tuning, not a strict must-follow rule. The general thinking, which is supported by some good evidence, is that sleeping on your left side can be particularly helpful for digestion. Because of the natural position of our stomach, lying on the left side can help prevent acid reflux and heartburn. On the other hand, for some people with certain pre-existing heart conditions, for example, some forms of congestive heart failure, sleeping on the right side can sometimes feel more comfortable. It's thought to slightly reduce pressure on the heart and major blood vessels in some cases.
So what's the takeaway for the average person over 60 who doesn't have those specific conditions?
My advice is this: don't get stressed out about it. Please do not lose sleep over which side to sleep on. The most important thing is that both sides, left or right, are infinitely better and safer for your body than sleeping on your stomach or flat on your back. So here's my practical advice. Start with the side that feels most comfortable and natural to you. Use a good pillow for your head, and always remember to put that support pillow between your knees. If you do that, you are already giving your body a massive advantage.
This has been such a truly eye-opening conversation, Dr. Miller. We started by learning about the hidden dangers of sleeping flat on our backs, from the way it can restrict our breathing to how it can lower oxygen to the brain, and that incredible link you explained to frequent nighttime urination, which you saw with your patient Robert. Then, we talked about the intense mechanical stress of stomach sleeping and how it can affect everything from our neck down to our lower back, like in the story you shared about Carol and her headaches. And finally, you've given us a clear, simple, and actionable solution: sleeping on our side with that crucial pillow between our knees to support our spine, open our airways, and help our circulation. It really feels like you've given us a roadmap to a better night's sleep.
And I want to add one last thought to that roadmap, Sarah, because I think it's important to manage expectations. The goal here is not to be perfectly still in one single position all night long. That's not how human beings sleep. We all move, we shift, and that's natural and it's healthy. The real goal, the true power, lies in the position you start in. It's about the position you choose to fall asleep in. It's about giving your body the best possible chance to begin its nightly repair work in a state of alignment, safety, and proper oxygenation. If you can give your body that head start for the first few hours of the night, you are already making a massive difference.
That's a much more realistic goal. It's not about perfection, it's about intention.
Exactly. Think of it this way. The 7, 8, or 9 hours you spend in bed are not passive time. They are an active period of healing for your entire body. Your brain detoxifies, your heart rests, your muscles repair, your spine decompresses. So the simple question you can ask yourself tonight is this: is my sleep position helping that healing process, or is it actively hindering it? Because your sleep position isn't just about how you spend your night. Ultimately, it's about how you want to live your day. Do you want to live it feeling refreshed, clear-headed, and strong? Or feeling groggy, stiff, and in pain? That small choice you make when you turn out the lights can set the stage for the entire day ahead.
That is such a powerful way to think about it. Before we let you go, doctor, for everyone watching who is now convinced and wants to make this change tonight, what is one final piece of encouragement you can offer, especially for their long-term health?
The most important thing is to be patient and kind to yourself. Changing a lifelong habit takes time. I want everyone to remember that what we've discussed today, it goes far beyond just avoiding a stiff neck. We are talking about a foundational pillar of senior heart health. Here's a practical tip for those who find themselves rolling back onto their back or stomach out of habit. Use pillows to build a little nest or barrier for yourself. Put one pillow between your knees, as we said, but also try hugging a larger pillow in front of you or placing a firm pillow behind your back. This can physically prevent you from rolling over while you're getting used to the new position. Every single night that you successfully sleep in a more supportive position, you are actively improving your circulation, boosting your brain's oxygen supply, and taking a tremendous load off your cardiovascular system. This is what proactive senior heart health looks like in practice. So please don't look at this as a chore. See it as one of the most powerful non-medication choices you can make for your body. It is a simple nightly commitment to your well-being and your future senior heart health.
That is a fantastic practical tip and a wonderful final thought. Dr. Miller, I can't thank you enough for your time, your stories, and your incredible wisdom today. This has been invaluable. And to everyone watching and listening at home, we truly hope this conversation gives you a new tool to take control of your health, starting as soon as tonight. We would love to hear from you. What's one small change you might try after hearing this? Are you going to try building that pillow nest? Let us know in the comments below. Your journey and your experience could be just the encouragement someone else needs to see. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Health Voices for more empowering health conversations just like this one, and share it with anyone in your life you care about. Until next time, sleep well.